Hello, I'm Carolyn Broady, President of the BC School Trustees Association. As we approach the 2024 election, it's important to share the strides BCSTA has made in advocating for public education. Through persistent and ongoing communication with government leaders and strategic advocacy, our organization has worked diligently to elevate the concerns and voices of trustees of all 60 school boards to ensure that recruitment and retention of staff, funding for capital and deferred maintenance, and a sustained focus on inclusive education and student success are at the forefront of our policy decisions. Our first priority focuses on recruitment and retention of staff. Across BC, the public education system is facing significant challenges in recruiting and keeping qualified educators and support staff, especially in rural and remote communities. BCSTA has actively communicated with the Ministry of Education and Childcare and the Ministry of Post-Secondary Education and Future Skills to address eliminating employment barriers. We have called on the government to address the significant challenges faced by early childhood educators and education assistants. To address the challenges of the high costs of education and training, the limited access to training programs, the insufficient financial assistance, and a lack of professional development opportunities. To address the severe ongoing teacher shortages in the north and rural and remote districts. To ensure all students have equitable access to quality education delivered by certified teachers. Current solutions are not sustainable solutions, as some districts rely heavily on teachers who have letters of permission, leading to students not getting access to fully certified teachers. Existing programs, such as Northern Pilot incentives and bursaries for student-teacher practicums, are appreciated, but do not provide a systemic, long-term solution for equitable access to education in the North. We have advocated for the Ministry of Education and Childcare to create and manage a Northern, rural, and remote teacher and bursary, and to address the severe shortages in rural and remote communities through targeted financial support that will help retain educators in their communities. The bursary aims to attract and support students pursuing teaching careers in these areas, ensuring a pipeline of qualified educators. These efforts are essential to building a diverse, inclusive workforce and ensuring that every student, no matter where they live, has access to quality education and qualified teachers. Our second priority focuses on inclusive education and student success. We've engaged with the government to open the discussion about targeted federal funding to support new immigrant and refugee students who are English and/or French language learners. BCSTA has also called on the government for full funding for neurodiverse awareness training for educators and funding to ensure playgrounds are accessible for all children. Fully funding support for students with special education designations will address the funding shortfalls currently impacting school districts. This support is crucial as British Columbia experiences rising immigration and migration levels, which increases the demand in districts to support these students' success. BCSTA is also advocating for inclusive education for Indigenous learners and increasing the necessary support and resources for all Indigenous learners to thrive, fostering an equitable learning environment across the province. Our goal is to foster an inclusive educational environment where every student, regardless of their background or needs, can prosper. This includes addressing funding shortfalls for students with special education designations and ensuring that all children have access to the resources they need to succeed. The top priority of boards of education is to improve student outcomes in the district they serve. BCSTA is advocating for all students to have equitable access to learning with accommodations and support as required to overcome systemic barriers and discrimination. Achievement outcomes for students with disabilities and diverse abilities are consistently lower than their peers in all metrics that are kept by the province. This priority group of students needs special attention from boards of education and government to ensure that the right systems, structures, and supports are established, enabling students with disabilities and diverse abilities to have positive, healthy, and successful school experiences. It is the role of the school to support all students in fulfilling these hopes and dreams. Every student has the right to learn. Families entering British Columbia's public schools carry hopes and dreams for their children, and those children with disabilities or diverse abilities are absolutely no exception. Our third priority area is to improve capital and deferred maintenance funding. BC schools are aging and in need of significant repairs. The backlog of maintenance issues is not only impacting the safety of our facilities, but also hindering the learning environment for our students. We've urged the Ministry of Finance to increase the annual facilities grant to better manage these costs and improve facility accessibility. We are pushing government officials for an equitable capital funding formula to replace and renovate aging school buildings, particularly in rural and remote and disaster-prone areas. This includes support for schools that rely on aging portables and a comprehensive review of the school construction funding process to keep pace with our growing population. BCSTA is also advocating for new capital investments for growing districts. BCSTA requested that the Ministry of Education and Childcare and the Ministry of Environment and Climate Change Strategy also develop a provincially funded plan in collaboration with boards of education to achieve Clean BC goals. We have called on the Ministry to increase capital funding for retrofitting of existing buildings to ensure our school districts are able to meet their 2030 greenhouse gas emission targets as required by BC's Climate Change Accountability Act. Boards of education across BC are dedicating to fulfilling Clean BC goals, but consistent obstacles related to funding and planning are slowing their progress. On behalf of our members, BCSTA is calling on the Ministry to create a provincially funded plan to help reach these targets. All of us at BCSTA are committed to these priorities and to advocating for the changes that will make a real difference in our public education system, but we need your help. As we head into the election, it's vital that we vote for candidates who recognize the importance of investing in education. Your vote is your voice in ensuring that our schools have the resources they need, our educators are supported, and every student has the opportunity to succeed. We also urge the community to engage with their local candidates. Share your questions and concerns about public education issues that matter to you and your community. Advocacy is collaborative, and by discussing these important topics, we can work together to support meaningful change in BC's education system. Together, we can create a robust and inclusive education system for all learners across British Columbia and build a brighter future for BC's public education system. Thank you for your continued support and making education a priority.